Time to get the strawberry bed ready for the winter time. Going to tuck it in with some mulch, get it ready to be able to handle some of the freezing weather that we have here. We don't have a lot. We generally have some pretty mild winters, but I don't want to jeopardize the strawberry plants, so I do mulch them in with some straw. What you'll see on the left is what all four beds looked like originally. You can tell there's some dead matter on top of the plants. The plants are very tight, very close into each other. Very little sunlight's actually reaching the soil. So we've got to thin those out. We've got to get them ready for winter. Notice on the right, you'll see a partially empty bed. That was bed number 4. That one was right next to the raspberry bushes. I thought I had enough room between the strawberry bed number 4 and the raspberry bushes, but I didn't. And it became very difficult to work in there. So what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of strawberry bed number 4. Now let's talk about strawberry bed number 1. Strawberry bed number 1 settled about 5 inches total. It wasn't real deep to begin with, but the plants stayed fairly healthy, but not as healthy as I would like them to be. So what we did on strawberry bed number 1 is I pulled all the plants out. Then I moved the good soil from strawberry bed number 4 over to strawberry bed number 1 to fill that up to where it would be deep enough, good soil, and ready to put some new plants in. So I took all the good soil and moved it into bed number 1, mixed it thoroughly with the existing dirt that was there, and then I took the healthiest plants I could find and moved those into bed 1 out of bed 4 as well. So I transplanted the plants as I went, doing about a quarter to a third of the bed at a time to make sure that the plants weren't exposed to the air and the sun and the cold any longer than what they needed to. And so notice I staggered the plants. That's the standard that I do. And then I put the irrigation back in and ready to start work on bed number 2. So here's a good example of what I was going to do to trim back the strawberries in this particular bed. I remember back to my days in the Midwest where people would cut their strawberries all the way to ground level. Some of them would actually mow them. So what I decided was not go quite that radical, but what I would do is I would cut them way down and just leave maybe a couple inches of plant at most exposed, but they'll be covered up with straw mulch later. So I just took a pair of hedge trimmers, the old manual kind, went down, cut the plants down well below the top of the side rails, and here's a picture showing how much I did cut off. And here's looking at the box to give you a real good idea of just how much material I did cut off of each strawberry plant. You'll notice that a lot of that dead plant material is gone. Yes, I know you still see some brown on the left, but that's mostly dead leaves that were cut off. So that's what we're going to do on this bed, where you cut it back pretty radically, and we'll see what it looks like. Here's a real good example of the bed that I cut back radically, which was bed number 2. And then this is the before of bed number 3. You can see the plants just flowing out all over the place. We're going to cut those back too, but not quite as radically as we did for bed number 2. And this is the after picture of bed number 3. Notice that it's much longer than bed number 2. And but this is an experiment. I want to see which works the best. Remember, bed number 1 had the full-grown plants that had been transplanted, and bed number 2 had been cut way back. Bed number 3 cut back, but not near so much. Want to see how it turns out next year. So here's what bed number 3 looks like, all trimmed up, all cleaned up, ready to go. Notice all the plant material on the left. That's not going to go to waste. That's stuff there on the ground. That's going to go to good use, and I'll show you. Here's a final look at the strawberry beds. They're all ready to go for the winter now. They've got a couple inches of straw on them. I didn't use near as much straw as I did last year. Just didn't think it needed it. Strawberry plants are pretty healthy all the way down into the 20s without any trouble. So going with a little less straw this year and we'll see how things go. But there you go, ready to rock and roll. And that, my friends, is what's going to happen to the material that we took out of the strawberry beds. Can you guess what it is? Check back. We're going to do another video on it.